Hello and welcome. I am Light and this is my channel. Today I'm going to tell you about the Witch Hunt Village in Salem, Massachusetts. Before we get started, if you would please give this video a thumbs up, it really helps my channel. If you would leave comments, that helps my channel. And if you're subscribed, thank you. And if you're not subscribed, please take a minute to do so. And I am sponsoring today's video with my own jewelry. So there'll be some pictures at the end and a link down below. All right, let's go. The devil came to me and bid me serve him, said Tituba, an indigenous woman who was enslaved by Salem Village's minister, Samuel Parris, when his young daughter and niece began to suffer fits in the winter of 1692. Supposedly influenced by the Bajan woman's fortune-telling, the girls and their friends were soon called victims of witchcraft. Thus, the town's notorious witch hysteria began. Driven by ever-increasing accusations from the coterie of possessed girls, the Salem court convicted and hanged 19 townspeople found guilty of witchcraft in 1692. But not all of those souls went placidly to their unhallowed graves. In fact, 3 of them uttered hellish curses that some believe afflict Salem to this very day. A beggar named Sarah Good, having lost her unborn child in jail after being convicted of witchcraft in June of 1692, was brought to the gallows hill with her 4 other, quote, witches in July. The Reverend Nicholas Noyes tried to elicit a confession. A furious Good shouted, "I am no more a witch than you are a wizard, and if you take my life away, God will give you blood to drink." In 1717, so tradition holds, Noyes suffered an internal hemorrhage and choked to death on his own blood. More than 100 years later, Nathaniel Hawthorne, a descendant of the witch-hunting judge John Hawthorne, used this curse to fuel the plot of his 3rd novel, The House of the Seven Gables, the name of Salem House that still stands. In their introduction to the Scarlet Letter, Hawthorne apologized for his ancestors' actions. A so-called warlock hurled this. "Damn you, Sheriff," the elderly Giles Corey shouted as he was fatally crushed under stones placed on a wooden plank in a field near Howard Street, possibly the site of Howard Street Cemetery. "I curse you and Salem." Hawthorne again. Tradition was long current that the ghost of Giles Corey, the wizard, appeared on the spot where he had suffered as the precursor of some calamity that was impending over the community. He was reportedly seen, for instance, in the Howard Street Cemetery the night before the Great Salem Fire of July 25, 1914, which left half the town homeless. Corey was tortured for 2 or 3 days by High Sheriff George Corwin, who was ostracized by the town after the trials. When Corwin died of a heart attack in 1696, his family, not wishing to risk a vandalized grave, interred him in his basement on the same site now occupied by Joshua Ward House. Naturally, or should I say supernaturally, it is haunted. In the 1970s, according to Rose Mary Ellen Guiley, author of Haunted Salem, the last man to serve in the office of sheriff, the office no longer exists, Robert Ellis Cahill, investigated the curse and wrote that all sheriffs as far back as he could trace either died in office of heart problems or retired with an ailment of the blood. In 1978, Cahill's own stint as a sheriff was cut short by heart disease. Another accused witch seemed to predict a future conflagration. "This town shall burn," shouted Wilmot Red, who was among the final 8 victims to be hanged on the gallows hill on September 22, 1692. Many years later, of course, Salem did, in fact, burn to the ground. But none of these doomed townfolks would have ever have thought to curse Salem with tourist brochures calling it bewitching, not to mention a 3D haunted adventure or a terror house that claims we're bringing scary back. One doubts that Corey's ghost would agree with that assessment. There is even, heaven forbid, a statue of Elizabeth Montgomery, star of TV's Bewitched, honoring the episode of the popular show that were shot in the village where all hell broke loose, perhaps literally, in 1692. Thank you for coming to my channel. If you'd like to stick around for a few minutes to just take a couple peeks at some of my jewelry that I'm going to put up. And if you're interested in supporting this channel, it is holiday season. So please keep in mind that you can help a channel and get something beautiful. Thank you, and good night.